All right, so we are going to get cracking with this piece here. This is a quick sketch of a design I was doing for a friend a little while ago, and the criteria, he said that he wanted a gorilla, and he also wanted love to be expressed in there. So hence why you see the sunglasses with the heart, their heart shape. My man's got like a toothpick going on. He's got some headphones. He's got his hat flipped back, right? He's got a backpack on. So I thought that this would be a cool way to kind of start you guys off and combine what we have for our concept creations as well as our major project, right? So consider this sort of what I'm looking for when it comes to your concept creations, right? Got some of like the base to it. I would expect more, maybe some notes on what you want to do, but I'm gonna go ahead and freestyle some of what I'm expecting for your major projects and some of what you'll have for your concept creations, right? So what I'm gonna first start off with is the concept creation part. We got our main focus and our subject matter, right? But I'm gonna go on in and I'm going to add in maybe some lines that are coming from our centerpiece here. Much like, hopefully you've already seen, but the Peter Max video where the gentleman goes in a little bit. Real quick pause. This is nice, right? So where the hat meets here in the corner, this kind of gives a nice little angle for it to protrude out of there, and it draws you in this fashion, right? I'm gonna do here at the corner of the brim, right? Have come out that way. So now that we have some of these lines in, I'm gonna do here at this corner too, right? Corner to corner, okay? If you want to get extra precise, what you could do is you could have, your vanishing point and have your line stemming from here. A few of them are off if I was going to approach it in that way, especially like this middle line, right? But a lot of these are spot on when it comes to, going to a center figure and having that, having these rays kind of explode from that area, right? So I'll come out that way. It's that a little bit. Come up like that. Okay. Now, what you can go ahead and do is you can, erase some of these lines. You could put in. Now, the gentleman in the video had stencils, right, to work off of, which is incredible. I am going to go ahead and freehand like this star in here, for example, right, to kind of add that that feature that he has in there. And let's just say, maybe there's some circles around here kind of portraying some of that cosmic energy, right, and exploding. Now, what I was explaining in in the lesson and some ideas is you could have flat shapes against realistic shapes. So you have your 2D versus your 3D, right? And so you could elect to leave the rays flat and leave your objects be a little bit more three-dimensional, right? So an example here is, let me see, this is regular like 2B pencil, right? I'm gonna switch over to an H, just so I don't go too heavy. I got a heavy hand, y'all. So if I want to get a little bit lighter, I'm gonna use my lighter pencil. All right, I'm just lightly tapping in here to kind of make this cosmic bubble have a little bit more form, right? We're transforming it from a shape, the circle shape, to a form, making it more spherical by just adding in some shading like so, okay? And so now within that, you have this this juxtaposition of the flat versus the versus the three-dimensional. If you really wanted to get detailed, right, and this would be saved for like your major projects, is you could even add a shadow behind here, right? Always keep in mind your light source. So where's my light source coming from right off rip? All right, where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? It's coming from up over here, right? Light source is coming from up over here, okay? Which is casting the shadow coming back this way, which is making that bubble pop right off the page, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shade in certain aspects. Now I'm going to flip right back over to my, I just love this pencil. It's from I stole this from my mama, y'all. This is from, I don't know, some Tavali Hotels. I forgot where she got this from. It might have been like Italy or so, right? So maybe that's why it's extra special to me. I just like it because it's black, and she gave it to me with the, well, I saw it with a fine point, and I said, ooh, let me take that pencil, right? So I'm gonna shade the shoulder for example, okay? So now if you don't want to make your shapes in the background three-dimensional, which I actually recommend that you don't. I recommend that you keep them flat. If you're using color, which is great, you know, I would go ahead and focus on your centerpiece, right? So you may have used yourself, like a self-portrait, maybe even the profile view that the gentleman in the Peter Max video has there, right? But we're focusing on this gorilla right here as my subject matter. I felt like this was also perfect because a lot of you thus far in like your surveys, you said you want to learn animals, which is really dope, right? Because to be honest, before I started doing portraiture, mastering animals was something that came a little bit more natural for me. And then I was able, if I was able to capture the soul in, let's say, a zebra or a lion or, you know, even like a cat or a dog or a lemur or something, then that would demonstrate that I could capture that in people as well. So sorry that I'm kind of you know, going off into other aspects of our class, but I do want to digress and retract back to the subject at hand. So notice how this has a lot much better form, right? And popping off here. So now imagine if this were to be like black and white and the rest were to be color, right? Or maybe even reverse. I wouldn't recommend it because you got all this like power coming out of here, right? So maybe I would probably keep it to be colorful in the background, and then, you know, make your main subject a little bit duller, because it could, you know, it'll pop right off with the black and whiteness as long as you add some dimension to it, right? As long as you add some values and really showcase that. So I'm going to go ahead and with the headphones here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'll switch it up. Well, I'll save that for the next one, right? If I were to do the headphones, we're going to make these a little bit darker, right? Going in here. I'm gonna get real dark in here. Maybe so dark that I'm gonna switch over to like a 6B pencil, right? Because these are gonna be black. Okay. Now notice I have pretty much like a dull tip on this also. Okay. Notice I'm doing all this just with the pencil. I have yet to grab my blending stick or anything, but you can definitely utilize it in order to stretch or to make it a little bit smoother of a tone, right? And really capture that texture. Okay, just like so. Because that tip is dull, I'm not going to stick with that pencil. I'm going to come back with my black pencil right in here. Outline that a little bit more. dimension there, maybe a little hint of a line there, right? These are some thick headphones, y'all. Okay. And then I can refine it a little bit more in here. If I want to refine it even more, I can come back to my H over the top and merge my dark tones with my softer tones. Maybe capture a little bubble there, a little reflection bubble. Okay. Leave that top open. Leave the bottom open a little bit, because usually if this was in color, you might have the reflection of whatever color is going to be down here, right? Where these two spots here will be bright, right? They'll be white. Okay. And this comes just out of like studying objects a lot, right? That, and then, you know, practice. So you see the way that now the headphones are protruding out of there. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of value to the sunglasses. So we have like those streaky type of sunglasses, right? So you can add it in this way. Let me outline this just a little bit more so you guys can see it just a little bit easier. Coming around this way. Okay. Add in the streak there. I'm going to keep some dimension here on the back end. Okay. Make it a little bit more three-dimensional. All right. And then just add in a few streaks coming right in here. Okay. Your tones kind of converge that way. Notice how they're not touching each other. Just keep it open like this. If you want there to be more separation, which we'll get into in their projects coming down the line, but all you would do is just come back and make sure that you get deeper and darker right in here. Okay, deeper and darker right in there. Same thing there. Make these things pop out. You may decide that you want to add more depth by getting darker, coming around like that then. Okay, so there you have it. All right, you have an example of, you know, how to utilize form a little bit, bring in some shape while you're going along your pieces, and what I'll be looking for. Right now, again, you know, I do this, right? So it comes naturally. Some of you don't give yourself credit enough, and you do this too. Okay, so go with the flow. Study different objects. Study the Peter Max video, right, on how. Just pay attention to the shapes that are used and the composition and the layout of things. Okay, you may want to add some overlapping elements, right? So I have my heart up here, but then I'm gonna add maybe some circles, some bubbles coming off of there, right? That cosmic love that's coming out of there. Okay, you may want to toss in like some more stars in between here. Okay, some smaller ones. Play around with the way things are coming. So if I have a big star there, small star there, I'm gonna do a tiny one right over here. Okay, all right. Right, so it's going kind of like an arch. You got the bubbles here, right? So things are kind of coming at you. Okay, I will go right in here. Add some dimension in here. All right. For the face, I'll give you what I would do for the tones here. And you'll have to excuse me. I actually plan on having this video just being like a few minutes and showing y'all just a few things, okay? While you're building your projects, but I get a little carried away. So I add in some value on here, all right? The teeth, gritting it a little bit. A gorilla guy, he's a reluctant lover. but he's also a cool guy, I suppose, right? And notice how I'm talking about him while I'm drawing him, because then you give your subject matters life that way. Okay, talk to him a little bit, make him come to life. Okay. A lot of the times, what I'll do is I'll listen to some music. Like, what type of subject, what type of music will my subject matter listen to? Not necessarily me, but what pulls out the life from my subject matter. Okay, what makes it pop a little bit more, and that's what will give it more breath. Okay, especially those that are looking to get into either like animation, anime, manga, creating your own characters, okay, or anything, portraiture especially, right? Be in tune with your subject matters. What are they thinking? What are they saying? How do you feel about it? Okay? And that's something that will come to life by giving your TLC while you're composing your pieces. All right? So I hope this helps. Hope you find it fruitful. I'm going to do another clip of my other concept that I did for this project, just in a different element, in a different medium. All right, so you guys have a little bit more to work with. Okay, all right. Look at the way that muscle pops a little bit. I wouldn't want to be strong-armed by this gorilla, not whatever, unless he's giving me hugs of love. That'll be all right. Hugs of love are always good, as long as he doesn't squeeze me like a boa constrictor or anything, right? All right, that's it. Happy creating. I'll see you on the flip side.